Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. I don't really know how to start, a video like this off, but I'm just going to do my best to try and get this out there. Now I want to talk about something a bit serious, and it's a real issue going on in schools nowadays due to our ever-changing SJW-filled society. What I'm talking about is the issue on how quote-unquote sex education is being taught in schools with kids as young as 7 years old. Now, before you give your opinion, I really think you need to hear the complete story before any immature adult is over here typing a comment about how we need this and whatnot. So hear the full story before you even type that, please. Now, recently it's come to a lot of parents' attention that certain schools, at least in the US, I am not certain how it is in other countries, but in the US, are teaching kids as old as 7 about quote-unquote sex ed. However, this isn't the typical thing that you'd expect is shown, such as when my time, we were shown, diagrams of the genitals depending on if you're a boy or a girl, and it would essentially be a diagram of your sexual organ. Now, what's being shown in these classes, quote-unquote sex ed classes, is not that at all. What they are showing is, I kid you not, remember these are kids as young as 7, they're being shown erotic and pornographic material, pornographic material. This includes, but is not limited to, oral, vaginal, and anal intercourse, fisting, bondage, vor, and some others that I'm really just not going to mention because I don't really want to make anyone gag, and just talking about this alone is giving me conniptions. Now, these kids are also encouraged at that age to experiment with what they're being shown. In other words, they're encouraging child sex. So, yeah, that's an issue. Now, once again, I really care very little on where you stand on the whole sex ed and, how it should be taught, whether it should be shown like erotic material or actual adult movies or whatever. Because that's been a controversy for quite some time. So I really don't give a crap about where you stand on that. But one thing that is absolute in this argument, the way I'm feeling, personally, as well as most parents, is that this is just purely taking advantage of children. This is just purely taking advantage of children. You do not encourage a kid to experiment at the age that they don't fully understand what's going on. They don't understand the repercussions of having intercourse or doing anything sexual at a young age such as that. They don't understand the repercussions of that and how that affects their future. And then, what's the worst part is what these organizations who are trying to encourage to teach the kids this young, when the adults catch on to what they're trying to show the kids, what these organizations do is they try and force the adults out of the picture and have these kids attend these so-called sex ed classrooms against the parents' consent and their wishes. Heck, a group of parents actually conducted a sting operation in which they pretended to attend one of these, organizations' meetings, who's in on, teaching the sex ed, whatever. It's not even sex ed, I don't even want to call it. It's just straight up bullcrap is what it is. But, they went to one of these and, tried to, well, not tried to, they actually, pretended that they were an advocate for, what the group is standing for, which is, the typical SJW bullcrap, encouraging sexual activity at a young age, even saying kids as old as 14. This is one of the things that they said, and I kid you not, they should be able to get an abortion without the school or doctor notifying their parents. In other words, if you got a 14-year-old, they got knocked up or something, despite the fact that they're going into some kind of surgery that could potentially go wrong, can cause some sort of an issue, and you don't know why your kid may be sick afterwards. it's not your business, is what they're saying. And one really important thing on this, folks, is I can't help but feel like this is like another like the reason they're targeting kids with something as vile as this is to expose them at a young age, because when you're really young, your brain is like just a sponge and it's still forming, so it's just taking in whatever it sees and usually trying to mimic that, right? So a kid, as young as 7, hearing all this info would easily be brainwashed, over time. Like, oh yeah, I'm supposed to be like, experimenting at 7 and whatnot. So that's gonna cause some really big issues, as I just said, in a previous video. Like, in the education industry is brainwashing people. But one of the really huge things is I feel like once they convince these kids that they actually know what's going on, like with sex and whatnot, then they're getting really close. And this really worries me, because they'll get really close to recognizing pedophilia as an official sexuality. Now, if you think I'm joking, and if you think like this is a game or whatnot, I kid you not. There are literally people in like the LGBTQ community trying to like push to recognize pedophilia as a sexual orientation. And if you really don't think that this is out there, if you really don't think there are actually pedophiles trying to like make it what they seem, like make what they do seem like it's normal, there is literally an organization. Whether you want to look it up or not is up to you. I wouldn't encourage you to do it because it's pretty disgusting as far as I'm concerned. But the organization is called NAMBLA, and I don't remember what is like North American Men Loving Little Boys, some bull crap like that. But if you don't believe me, just type it up yourself and you will see. Now, I kind of just want to end this video off with a message to parents, because I really feel like, as someone who, didn't have to worry about this in my day and age, I got off pretty fortunately. But now that, a lot of people, now that it's a different day and age, and a lot of people, have kids and they just feel like they can send them to school and just let them handle the rest, I just want to make a quick message out to you. If you're a parent, or if you're ever planning on even having kids, please hear me out. You deserve to know what's going on in your kids', lives, in their education, despite what belief society claims and whatnot. These insane and sick people are trying to take away that right from you. These are not the days anymore where you can just send kids to school and hope that they're okay and they're getting, a proper education. We've got mass shootings. We've got, like freaking child psychopaths these days. And now we even got a whole bunch of freaking people trying to teach, really young kids about sexual education and encouraging them to experiment. Now, in order to help stop this, you have to get involved with what's going on in schooling. You have to. You cannot just let them sit here and brainwash your kids, or worse, take advantage of them by convincing them that they're ready to consent to something they don't even fully understand. Children are the future, and if you are allowing them to convince these kids to, do all of these vile things at such a young age, just imagine the product of that childhood. Imagine the kind of degenerative adult that's going to produce for the most part. We have to protect kids. And I hope that you will take action against what they're doing at these schools and speak out against it and do your best. Because frankly, I'm telling you, man, I really enjoy this one. If you ever know anyone like who's planning on like taking advantage of a kid, just remember, it's better that a stone was hanged around their neck and they were drowned in the sea for offending some little kids, dude. And with that being said, that's just going to bring this video to a close. I know it was kind of quick, But this is a real issue, and people don't know about this because they're doing their best to like keep this on like the really younger generation side. So a lot of adults don't even know that this is going on and it's a real thing. I'll do my best to include some documentaries or maybe some articles if I can find any so that you can see for yourself. As always, rate the video what you think it deserves. Tell me what you'd like to see in the future in the comments below. Feel free to check out the amino. It's linked in the comments. And I will see all of you in the next video. Take care and wake up.